Yeah, hello everybody, Knife here. Are you able to hear me? I understood this patch would be huge enough for IceFrog to partly lose his anonymity and tweet about it online, which is pretty exciting because it alters the fighting that is seen as A-OK in sub 2K, which is where I mainly play, so let's get right into it. An initial once-over suggests the best thing is something other than a comic, because when I'm trying not to vomit with anticipation, IceFrog, constipation, making me wait for these notes to see the last thing I'm hyped for is comics to read. Moving on to Monkey King, I know the way people will sing his praises for about 2 days is like, haha, wow, such an original hero, nothing like Phantom Lancer, and after a little while, they're whining about cancer like it's 6.84, but this man turns into a tree. And even though your teammates will die a lot to this guy, it's not hella cool that he can turn into a tree? An inventive hero, isn't that what we were hoping to see? Never mind the fact it looks a little bit like League. Next is the terrain for 13 bucks. Next is the Monkey King Arcana for how many bucks? Next is an announcer pack, like back in the past before the patch, we didn't have any ways to spend our cash. Next. On to more important things, the order things are on the screen is just a little rearranged. The new HUD is something I judge to help people too new to the game who want to scan but have to search for it before they can scan the Roche pit. It doesn't lower skill caps, but it gets rid of much hated screen crap. I like it a lot, and I hate most stuff, but I really want to see Sanj get a nice buff. Oh wait, we aren't on that yet. We still got a little features in the options that we gotta set. Mana cost on items, queuing up courier deliveries, it seems to me, makes all the rearranged positive changes for the quality of life. Speaking of the QOL, let's talk a little about the pre-battle. I like the way you can sort heroes by kind and find strategies and tactics that please you, and before you tacitly agree to, now you can hash it out with your Randys in a civilized way, something you couldn't do as recently as yesterday. Setting up starting builds, planning out your lanes, just typing to your teammates used to be a pain. Now it's so simple a monkey could do it. Wait, what's this? A talent tree? Dota, you blew it. Not really, I'm sure we'll be fine given time. Han already has it, and it isn't a crime to take what works and use it, and take the worst things and choose to diffuse them. This allows for greater customization of your hero, where none had zero before. Now they all have so much more creative ways of creative play. Just stay off ranked for a few days while the Randys are still trying to quote innovate what won't work, a one-shot clockwork. The challenge is going to be to remember by the end of December not to build BKB to block Vengeful Stun. Level 25 goes right through a Sun. Unless that Venge chose the Aura perk, in which case BKB still won't work, she'll just right click you to death. It's OP, but it's okay, so is every skill tree. Minor reworks to the XP, still not as exciting as the skill tree. Minor reworks to the time it takes to respawn, yawn. Gold for kills was minimized, which usually could be analyzed in a vacuum, but it's a new meta. The best we can do is theory crafting in a chat room. Same with death cost, same with XP, same with AoE gold, same with bounties, same with backpacks, same with backpacks, backup. 3 additional item slots, Refresher, Necro, Midas, every late game like, please hide us from Mark Ward, and 18 slots is kind of a lot, and I don't think he can be stopped, and I'm tired of being stomped, and I'm destroying all 9 of my items, GG, and fast. I don't want to try and fight him. Changes to Roshan the Immortal, minor. Changes to digging for gold coins, minor. Let's take a moment of our time to examine the shrine. For example, what is it? It's a very fancy healing ward, like a mini fountain, destroyable when tier 2 goes down, and provides a small mountain of gold for the team who destroys it. I mean them. There's 5 inside the base, 1 in your shop, then 1 at the Ancients. To stop them you can glyph, but glyph has a long cooldown, but then so does the shrine, so maybe just let it go down. It seems to be to me a minor liability, like a free courier for the enemy. That said, we buy courier every game all the same. Greevil's Greed no longer turns bounty runes into radiance quite as soon, and refilling the bottle got worse again, like Lena needed another nerf again. Wait, I misread that. Bounty runes don't spawn in River? Okay, now roaming Ricky is basically a Hitler, treasure hunting a viable position where only licensed morticians can help the future condition of the mid-player silenced and slain and forced to the jungle level 2 because he's forced out of lane by this nonsense. Personally, I dream of back in the day when ganking mid just wasn't done. It was more of a 1v1, but that's just my 2 cents. And it just isn't the same, but I know it's a team game, so I guess it's okay. There were some changes to the map, which I know Reddit will think are crap. They wanted less farm for the offlane player, but I wanted more farm overall. I'm a creep slayer. If I play an alchemist and my teammate's pissed that his anti-mage can't engage in fights at 40 minutes because all he has is brown boots because all the creeps got shoveled into my mouth, then we lose. But if we just had more creeps overall, that's not a problem. It allows greedier lineups overall, and that's not a problem. It allows Legion Commander to jungle for a longer period of time. That may be a problem. As for neutral changes, it seems pretty normal. Suiciding in jungle got nerfed as it should, and as we all hoped it would. Ancients no longer spell immune, blah blah. Neutrals now mana regen imbued, blah blah. New abilities for the ancients, whoa, hold up and do not resume. Dragonhide Aura now third. Relevant for Doom? Are you telling me that we get to see Doom eat an ancient creep and gain its powers? Because to consume a hill troll late game, those summoned skeletons might as well be flowers. And if I assume right, then Doom can fight earlier and harder, a huge buff with a huge aura that makes him hella tough. Hella? See what I did there? Because Doom is Lucifer. Anyway, the conifer trees don't get broke if you TP on top of them now, so try not to get stuck. And tier 4s have HP regen now, so if you want to chip damage them, you're out of luck. And you didn't hate it when a late click made you the hated dick of your team who fortified a dead tier 1? I did that a ton. I know they changed the code so you can't. Thanks, Frozen Toad, my wish was granted. Illusions feed money now, and it's funny how they used to be this ultimate high ground tool, but cool it with those strats because they don't work anymore with this building damage reduction and increased T4 regen. Some stuff about Cleave, which I'll leave alone. If you play a lot of Kunkka and you believe you can receive a modicum of valuable or viable info, you're dead wrong. I looked at the changes. They're minor at best, so contain your distress. It's not a nerf. Abyssal Blade. Damage block, more RNG. Aether Lens. Cast spells further from me. AC, better for your team than it was before. Bloodstone, no more accidental suicides. Cheese, it give you mana even more. Clarity, creep hits no longer make your mana die. Crimson Guard now affects buildings too. Daedalus crit to times 2.3 from times 2.2. Diffblade can no longer be self-cast. Drums no longer give health regen. Enchanted Mango on sale at last. Scatty is no longer a UAM. HOD now gives stats and a creep for stacks. Remember when every hero got drums, then someone on the Valve dev floor said no more, and they tried to make drums a support item, but it failed, and without an easy stat item, carries just flailed around. I've come to the conclusion HOD is the simple solution. Morbid Mask now has more cost. Mask of Madness is like the old Bloodseeker Self-Silence. MKB got a little squash, no longer adding attack speed. And I'm sure it's balanced, but what about Monkey King? Won't he be furious? Necrobook, less damage versus buildings, probably won't be built by quite as many Furians. Rod of Atos was a garbage item, only good on Skyrath, but with its new route, it's been boosted to a good item and an insta-kill on, let's do some math, yep, still Skyrath. Sanj got buffed, thank you Icefrog, sincerely. Satanix' item reworked, but it looks the same, nearly. Sir Action Slacks popularized the Soul Ring, which we knew would bring the cost up slightly, and it's a nerf to the item, but only lightly. Tome of Knowledge scales better, so you can get your supports to maximum level, so they can cap out their skill trees and go ham in the late game. But seriously though, a buff to Sanjman? That's exactly what the item was missing. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm just excited to have my S and Y back. Let's move on to the heroes part, completely ignoring the skill tree side because I've tried to pick apart this brave new system of mechanics, but all I get is a sense of panic because I no longer understand the meta, so let's stick to what we understand, and I'll lend a hand in your comprehension of the material. For example, Anti-Mage Aghanim's can passively reflect an ethereal blade projectile, and my boy Arc Warden is added to Captain's mode. Bounty Hunter Scepter increases Shuriken bounces twofold. Brewmaster buffed, I think, but I'm not sure. Bristleback buffed by around 28%. Broodmother auto attack damage now changed to pure. Haha, not really, but wouldn't you be upset? CK Scepter added, he's a support now. Chen buffed, but his best spell is still his Fountain Teleport. Crystal Maiden Scepter changed, and now the new one applies, quote, Frostbite to units within freezing field range. It seems strangely familiar, as if someone on Reddit suggested that exact same edit. Oh, would you look at that, a max level Doom can get hella fat, devouring ancient creeps if he plays it right and puts points into the right skill trees. Elder Titan nerfed, I think, but honestly, who knows with that, man. I'll talk about Ember Spirit though, since he's a hero I understand. It says here, Ember Spirit Unstoppable, a buff that I didn't find probable, but honestly, it wasn't that much of a buff. He's just so strong already that the steady increase in remnant damage will excrete just that much extra for that one extra kill in that one mid-game fight, which will tip him just over the edge to being too strong to be alright. Gyroags buffed, and I feel like this time it's almost enough, but not quite. Invoker had his invocation cooldown killed and reduced to 6. He'll be a stronger laner now, with closer to 10 spells than his previous 3 tricks. If he can afford the early mana, he should stomp in every game, which is why the Soul Ring nerf was so seriously lame for Carl players, who would be slayers of those who would be gankers and kill them all if they only had enough mana for that ice wall. Liquid Fire is no longer a UAM. Get ready for Jakiro to be a hero with an MOM for about 1 day before people in your pubs open their eyes and realize that isn't a smart play. Lycan got taken out of Captain's mode and got an overhaul, so his Howl to kill buildings isn't as strong, but he makes his team tankier, and using his Howl to maul in teamfights seems pretty alright to me, and at night to be a Lycan was no big deal before, but now his Howl is doubled at night. Both healing and damage buffs are enough to make the enemy team shy away from fighting it. The idea of hunting like a predator at night? I'm liking it. Meepo now shares all stats without an Aghanim, so rushing Acceptor might not be the only acceptable build to build on him. Maybe fast farming boots, Blink, 4 Dragon Lances, and ending quick is the answer to a counter pick of late game Ember Spirit. Necrophos is kind of interesting. Listen, they conflated Sadist and Death Pulse and brought in a new addition. It's called Ghost Shroud. It's like Ghost Walk, like the crowd control from the giant slow is the same, only instead of invisible, you get ethereal, and instead of walking faster, you heal faster, and they changed his Scepter too. Instead of disabling buyback, it reduces cooldown to 25, so you can use Reaper's Scythe to end the lives of 3 more guys before the first guys respawned. And has it dawned on you that Octarine Core, which was already core, makes that multi-death effect even more? Ridiculous. Just like a non-purgeable free BKB given to Troll Carry by Omni, just like the new Ags for Ricky. I don't mean to be picky, but a 10-second ultimate that follows an ally, like one who's tanky and chasey, like Razor for instance, with an instance of damage every second, that's OP. Just like the new Ags for the magic spellcasting chicken, which is splitting all your spells into double casting, basically doubling your damage for no extra mana cost. Just like the new Ags for Slark, which makes Shadow Dance hide allies too, so their Sven is unkiteable and unstoppable even without a BKB. Oh wait, he doesn't need one. He'll be given a free one by Omni. Just like the new Scepter for Sniper, which is like the crit from a Walrus Punch, but on a bunch of targets in an AoE, each of which is hit with a headshot, which is already tilting me because I see the Aghanim's Rapier combo players of Sniper and Bloodseeker setting up this one-hit rampage from a risk-free distance away. I would talk about the free basher that Treant gets on his first hit out of invisibility, which now has no mana cost, but man, I'm too busy trying to decipher these visage notes and decide if I know whether it's a buff or a nerf. Hold the phone. Power Shot deals hashtag 420 damage now? How is the total evasion and total invincibility once you get a BKB, and the total disable from a shackle to a tree, and the total damage from an MKB not enough? I like the Zeus Ags though. A global summon of a Thunderfluff should be just the buff he needs to be able to feed gold more efficiently. I'm joking obviously, I think it's cool, and I think you can tell by my obvious glee reading those notes and responding to them for the first time with these sick rhymes that I'm about to hit find match, because I know 700 is going to be a good patch.